Guys, before we start, check this out because you could win a lot of stuff. Plugin Masters, one of the leading online stores for plugins, is hosting a massive giveaway to celebrate their 3rd anniversary. 10 lucky winners can win a total of over $10,000 worth of plugins from companies like Waves, UAD, Sound Toys, FabFilter, and a lot more. And entering the contest is easy, but most important, completely free. Just click the link in the description down below and fill out the form. Don't miss out. 10 lucky winners, over $10,000 worth of plugin from Plugin Master 3rd anniversary giveaway. Hello everyone, David here. In this video we're going to take a look at the basics of vocal recording, but these concepts really apply to any source you want to record. We're going to take a look at microphone placement, microphone settings, signal paths, preamps, levels, and external processors if you happen to have any. And I'm also going to share a couple of tricks in case you have problems. So let's start with microphone placement in relationship to the vocalist. Generally speaking, for vocals we prefer to use large diaphragm condenser microphone like this one that I'm using right now. This is an Austrian Audio OCS10, but you can use a dynamic microphone, often preferred for rock metal vocals. And if your room is not ideal, a dynamic microphone will minimize reverberation and flatter echoes. One of the most important things is microphone placement relative to the singer. In order for you to place the microphone correctly, you need to make sure to locate where the capsule is inside the microphone, because different microphones will have the capsule in different places. Some will be higher, some will be lower. This happens to be here in the middle. This is important because even half of an inch different in height or distance will make a massive difference in tone. If you take a look at the microphone, obviously the singer will be in front of the mic. I'm staying on the side so you can see the capsule and the microphone. If you can see my starting point placement, the capsule is pretty much at mouth height. This is your starting point. As for the distance, you want to start about this far, about 2 palms away from the microphone. One of the most common mistakes that I see in people recording vocals, especially at home, is that they are too close to the microphone. Recording too close to the microphone will give you 2 problems. One, proximity effect. The closer you are, or any source is to the microphone, the more low end is gonna pick up. Now, this can be used as a form of VQ. For example, if you have a thin vocals or a thin source, you can use this proximity effect to your advantage, but as a starting point, you don't want to start so close. The second problem is being so close to the mic is going to give you a problem with S's, hard consonants, and plosives, which brings me to the next point, which always use a pop filter. Now, this is a specific pop filter that comes with the microphone, but you can use the round one, or you can even make one at home. Point is, always use a pop filter, because especially the blasts of air hitting the capsules are going to be a massive problem and almost impossible to solve in post-production. So once the pop filter is in place, and it should be a few inches off the capsule, your starting point is this much from the pop filter. I'm gonna remove it now because I want you to see the mic position, because I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that can help you if you have problems. For example, if you have an overly bright microphone, or the singer has problems with S's and hard consonants, instead of being straight perpendicular to the capsule, you can tilt the microphone a little bit on the side. The slight angle will make it so the air doesn't hit the capsule perpendicularly, but it almost slides off a little bit. And like I said earlier, if you want a warmer, bigger tone, you can go closer, or if you want a more airy sound, you can step away a little more. But just keep in mind that if you don't have a treater room, the farther away you are from the microphone, the more room reflection is going to capture. Another thing to consider is height positioning. Now, mouth height is your starting point, but if you want a more chesty sound, you can lower the microphone a little bit. And if you want a more airy sound, you can raise the microphone a little more, about nose height. Basically, experiment, because your mic positioning is your first EQ. Now, let's take a look at the settings that you can find in most microphones. Usually you will find a pad and a high cut filter, and if you have a dual capsule mic like this one, you will also have patterns. The pad is self-explanatory. 0 is your unity gate. There's not going to be any attenuation. -10 and -20 in this case, you can use them if you have a really loud source, so you have a little more headroom to work with. The low cut filter will remove rumble and sub energy that most likely you don't need when you record vocals. Although my advice is do not cut too high. A filter of 40 should be more than enough to remove all the rumble and all the noises that you don't need. If you have a particularly high vocal, maybe a female singer, you could try cutting at 80, but my advice is you can always cut later, you can add what is not there. As for the pattern, you will only find these settings if you have a dual capsule microphone, but for vocals you usually want to use cardioid and that's it. The others are usually for instrument, you don't really need to worry about it. You could pick hypercardioid in some situation for vocals, maybe experiment if your room is not ideal. Any microphone will need a preamp to work, whether you use the preamp on your interface or you use an external preamp. In order to do this, you will connect your microphone to a preamplifier. In this case, we are using the API 512, my favorite for vocals. And you see that I have this switch on, this red light that says 48 volts. This is your phantom power. Any condenser microphone will need the phantom power on. Dynamic microphones don't need phantom power to work. And with ribbon microphones, unless it's active, you can actually damage them if you turn the phantom power on. On your preamp, you will have your gain knob. This is how you set the level coming in. And hopefully your preamp also has a LED meter like this showing you the level. If not, you will have to monitor either your converter's level or your DAW. It's a good idea to start with the gain all the way to 0 and then slowly raise it until you see the desired level. What is the desired level? Now, in this case, I'm in front of the microphone and you can see just by talking, I'm almost eating the red, okay? The only hard rule when recording a source is don't clip. Don't hit the red. Don't hit the red on your preamp. Don't hit the red in your DAW like we are doing right now. A good level is in the green. If you want to hit the orange in the louder parts, that is perfectly okay. Just don't clip. If you want to use a hardware compressor on the way in, you will connect the output of your preamp to the input of your compressor and then the output of your compressor to your interface. There are no magic settings to set a compressor for vocals. Every vocal is different. Every song is different. But a good starting point with an 1176 style compressor is to push the input until you start seeing anywhere between 4 and 6 dB of compression like you can see right now in the gain reduction meter, and then set the output level until you see a healthy signal either in your converter's meter or your DAW like I'm doing right now on Pro Tools. You can see anywhere between -6 as -10 is a good starting point. As for attack and release, these are completely up to you and your taste. You can start with medium fast attack and fast release 4 ratio and you're ready for your first take. And I'm gonna close this video with 2 extra advice. If you don't have gobos to put around your vocalist or a vocal booth, you can get one of these screens here which are very cheap but very efficient. But even more important, you need to put something behind the singer, because what happens is the sound hits the wall behind the singer and comes back in the capsule, creating phase issues. So even if you have heavy curtains behind the singers, or you can hang up a blanket, it's not pretty, but it's gonna do the job. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, click the join button, become a MixBus TV member if you want to access the exclusive videos here on YouTube. And if you like the videos, please consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.